Hi you guys, and welcome back. It's Miz Tee here, and today I am cleaning my makeup sponge and my makeup brushes using Dove soap. You guys, I absolutely love this makeup sponge. It is a Real Technique sponge, and I've been using this particular one for about 2 months now. You guys, it's actually in pretty good shape considering what it's been through, and it's pretty dirty because I use it typically every day, you guys. I get this sponge from Marshall's. I usually find it there in a set of 4 for about $12. Individually at Ulta and some of the other beauty supply stores, you will find this sponge for about $5 or $6. But you guys, I just tell you to shop around, and you should be able to find it at a price that is a little bit more affordable for what you're going to get. But you're going to get a great sponge, very comparable to the Beauty Blender, you guys. So as you can see, I just rub my sponge across the Dove soap, you guys, and it comes clean pretty easily. I take my time and I just do this until it runs clear once I put it under the water. And you guys, you may see a couple of spots on there, a couple of dark spots. That's eyeliner and mascara that has stained my sponge, and I'm not trying to get that out because I don't want to be too rough with my sponge. My goal is just to keep my sponge as clean as possible. And again, I do this about once a week or about once every 2 weeks, or at least I try to get it done within that time frame. It's a really easy process. I let the sponge and my brushes dry overnight, and so by me doing that, it actually keeps a lot of the bacteria down, and it helps to keep my face from breaking out. You guys, look at that. We have a clean sponge, and a couple of spots in the sponge are starting to peel, but that's okay. This sponge, believe me, is still in really great shape. So we're going to continue to use it until it looks a little bit worse than that. This brush right here, I use it to apply my foundation, you guys. Typically, I use about 2 to 4 pumps of foundation at a time. So this brush is pretty heavily soiled with a lot of my liquid foundation. You'll see that with the next brush that I clean, it's pretty much the same type of brush, but it's not as heavily soiled because I use it more with powders than I do with liquids. And I just continue to rub it across the bar of Dove soap and to put it under the water until it runs clear. Once it's running clear, then I consider the brush to be clean. And you guys, the reason that I like to use Dove soap is because I like to use something that my skin is familiar with. You can use pretty much any soap that you like. You can use Dial soap or anything else that you have in the kitchen or in the bathroom, but I just recommend that you use something that your skin is familiar with. And you guys, like I said, this is my powder brush. I use this brush to apply my blush and to apply powder foundations. So it's not very heavily soiled, only because I'm using powders, and the powders just don't adhere to the brush the way that those liquid foundations do. Guys, this brush right here, I use it to color correct, and I use it to apply concealer under my eyes. Sometimes concealer can be a little bit hard to work with. Sometimes you get the type that you have to put on your finger and kind of warm it up in order for it to spread on your face really easily, and I really don't like those types of concealers, but if the colors are good for me, I will work with them. So this brush is really good at spreading those really hard to spread concealers. This brush right here is a fan brush, and I use it when I want really heavy coverage of my highlighter. I know it's kind of strange to say that you want really heavy coverage of your highlighter, but sometimes I just like a little extra shine, and this brush is big enough for me to actually spread that highlighter on just a little bit further than it would go if I use this smaller brush right here. This smaller fan brush I received in one of my subscription boxes last month, I believe. Anyway, you guys, it's proven to be a great addition to my brush collection, and I use it to apply my highlighter on really lightly. It's very good for that. The tips of it have gotten to be a little stained, you guys, and I'm not going to be really rough with the brush and try to get all of those little stains out the tip. So I'm going to wash it really good, and then I'm going to set it to the side. This brush right here I use to set powder under my eyes. It's really good for that. Most of my powders are translucent, so there's not a whole lot of powder inside of the brush. It's really easy to clean, really, really quick. This brush right here, I use it as a backup brush for applying my concealers. It doesn't spread those really hard to spread concealers as well as the other brush that I showed you guys, but it still typically gets the job done with a little bit of extra elbow grease. It's still a great brush. This brush right here, I typically use it on my eyes to spread my all over eye color. And as you guys can see, it's pretty heavily soiled. And it also has a string that is coming out. It's shedding a little bit. I didn't have a pair of scissors nearby when I was shooting the video, so I actually cut it out after I was done. But that's how I maintain my brushes. This brush right here, I use it to apply a little bit of color to my eyelids. And sometimes I use it for a little bit of blending. Same with this brush right here, which is my favorite of all the brushes you got. It's come from Sephora, and I've had it for about 9 or 10 years. It is a great, great brush. This little one right here, of course, I use it for concealer to kind of line my eyebrows up. And I use this one right here to kind of airbrush and spread and mix my eyeshadows together. I use that little end right there to apply a little bit of eyeshadow under my eyes to the waterline. And this brush right here, I sometimes use it to shape up my eyebrows as well. It's kind of like a backup. And I use this one to help spread that concealer around my eyes when I put on just a little bit too much. All right, you guys, my sponge and my brushes are all clean. I typically lay them on a rolled up towel so that they'll be elevated just a little bit so that the water doesn't run down into the sticks, because those brush handles will come apart from the main brush heads, you guys. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, just leave that information in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.